first off, thank all of y'all for showing love to the podcast, the messages, the shares, the ratings. It's been unreal. I appreciate you more than I can say. And now, excuse me while I get into this good food right quick.
Welcome back to another episode of Delisa Unfiltered. This is Special Guest Sunday, and our special guest today is the unfiltered truths about three beaches that have been personally experienced by our travel guru, Joletta Mackey. She's got the taste of the traveling bug a few years ago, and every summer she's out of here. So we're going to get a chance to experience the beaches through her recall. Take it away, Joletta.
So I'm going to talk about a little bit about each of the beaches. Well, I've gone to quite a few beaches, okay? But I am going to talk about three beaches that I've gone to. Two that were my absolute favorite beaches, and then one that was the absolute worst. The first beach that I'm going to talk about is Joletta Beach in Nassau, Bahamas. When I say the beach was amazing, it was absolutely amazing. The vibe was outstanding. The people there were absolutely amazing. Before I got ready to go to Nassau, I had people telling me, "Oh, I think Nassau is a little rough." You know, people had their things to say about Nassau. When we got there, it was amazing. The shopping was outstanding. Prices were absolutely reasonable. By the time I got to the end of my cruise, I wished I had picked up every souvenir from Nassau, Bahamas. So the people there were just very hospitable. The food was good. The drinks were amazing. Like, it was a whole vibe. The beach, I will say, was absolutely packed. Like, the seating area was packed. It was squeezed that way. I can't say enough about that beach. It was breathtaking.
So what did it do for your skin, that water?
For my skin, I felt purified. I felt amazing. Like, I felt like a new person coming out of that water.
So what was your second most favorite beach? Did you mention
My
it?
second most favorite beach was Beach in Roatan, Honduras. I've actually gone there twice, and I would go there again if I could. That beach was everything. They had all of the amenities from land to the beach. They had like a airlift that takes you from land over to the beach, and it literally lets you off right on the beach. They had all of the umbrellas, the chairs, the beds, anything that you needed to be on the beach, they had it available for you. They had outdoor showers, they had restaurants. The people there were extremely nice. My husband and I actually met several people when we were on the cruise, and actually on the beach we met a couple, and they said the same thing. The beach was everything to them. My husband is not a big fan of water, believe it or not, even though we've gone on several cruises. But I actually even got my husband to get in that water in Honduras. So that goes to show you how beautiful the beach was. He let go of all of his fears, and he actually got in the ocean.
So what was your absolute worst in your beach travels? What was your absolute worst beach experience?
So the absolute worst, it was, y'all, Costa Maya. Costa Maya was the absolute worst. However, I would say Costa Maya was great for shopping. But as far as the beach, I do want to say this. I booked my cruises through a travel agent, which I chose Carnival Cruise Line. And Carnival does give you a warning to book through their cruise line when you're taking excursions. However, we didn't. We actually booked an excursion on the actual port, so it wasn't through Carnival. So they told us that we were going on a beach excursion to a beach resort. And when we got there, it was everything but a resort. When we got there, it was very smelly. There was dead fish in the beach. It was nothing that I ever seen. It was actually pretty terrifying, to be quite honest with you. The residents there, the people there that work there on the beach were really aggressive. So I would definitely choose careful if you're going to go to Costa Maya. It was definitely an event. Not a great one though. Not a
So
great experience.
I've been seeing a lot going around on social media about U.S. citizens how they need to stay
Hmm.
out of Mexico right now for whatever
Hmm.
reason, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was great for shopping.
It was great for shopping. I actually picked up a really nice bag when we were in Costa Maya. We actually got some other great things too when we were there. But one of the things that my husband and I picked up, if you don't mind, I can actually show
Would you
what we
show
actually
us?
got from there. Absolutely. So I was able to get this beautiful,
Oh, that's
real
lovely.
cowhide bag. It actually has a long strap, so it can actually be crossbody. But this is real, like you can actually feel the skin. It's a beautiful cowhide bag. Beautiful, very spacious crossbody. And my husband actually got a crossbody, a man's bag
Can you
as
hold it?
well.
Can you slide back with it so we can get the whole scope of it?
Absolutely.
Back a little bit further. That is lovely. Now, can you open it? Can we see the inside? You can't get anything like that.
Absolutely. The entire bag, the handle, everything, the strap is leather.
Mhm. Handcrafted. That's beautiful. So, would you recommend going back there just for shopping, or would you not go back there at all?
So, to be quite honest with you, I never
Would you
visit Costa.
bypass them and go to the Bahamas to get the
I
souvenirs?
would pass Costa Maya and go to the Bahamas again. The port in Costa Maya wasn't really bad. They actually have like a pool on the port, so the pool isn't half bad. But the beach that we went to, which was off the port, was an absolute no no.
Okay. So, what is some of the advice that you would give a traveler, a new traveler, some of the things that they need to bring on their trip, and some of the things that they don't need to bring?
So I would say don't overpack. I would say definitely take you and it's easy for me to say that. I always overpack. But when I say don't overpack, I mean with like dress clothes, stuff like that. Because once you get there, you're not gonna even feel like having on clothes. You're gonna want to wear it's gonna be so hot. You're gonna want to wear your swimsuit everywhere you go. But I would definitely say overpack on the swimwear and just like on the loungewear. But don't overpack. You don't need a ton of money if you're gonna take like a cruise. Not unless you're looking to bring back, you know, an extreme amount of like souvenirs and things like that. But you don't need a ton of money to take with you. Um, what I will say bring, and it's a lot of things that people really don't think about. Like I always pack an emergency, like a first aid kit. You can buy those anywhere, like $10 or less. But I always take a first aid kit because you don't think like you might need a band-aid or antibiotic ointment, things of that nature. I always take anything that I might need if I have an upset stomach. You know, if you're gonna be eating quite a bit, so anything to help relieve you of constipation or anything, you go, and that's stuff that people really don't think about, but it happens because on a cruise you got food galore. There's no shortage of that. You're probably gonna be drinking, so take any medicine. I take cold and flu medicine because you're on a cruise ship or you're in an environment with tons of other people. So take cold and flu medicine. They sell all of this stuff on the cruise ship, but it's going to be sky high. And this is stuff that you can pack in your suitcase and you have it for yourself and for any other trips that you decide to go on.
And extra money for
Yeah.
souvenirs.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I feel like a couple of $100, you can do very well with that. You know, if you go on a cruise with that, unless you're planning to eat at a lot of like specialty restaurants and things like that. But um, it's, you can do really well with not a whole lot of money on a cruise.
What was the best beach for people watching?
Best beach for people watching. So I'm gonna say Bahamas. Nassau was great for because they had sand seats with umbrellas. They had the bar right next to you, and I mean you can sit there, and it was in behind the beach, so you can sit there and watch. When I say everything, everything, you can see the street, you can see the buildings across, and then you can also see everything and everybody on the beach.
Okay, I think Nassau is a overall winner.
Yeah, Nassau is a great beach.
Okay. Now I wanted to know more about this bad beach. What did it look like? I mean, what was there anyone swimming?
So let me tell you. So when we left the port, paid for, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, to take that excursion was $66 a person. And so we didn't feel like that was a bad price. It wasn't at all compared to some of the other excursions. But it was $66 a person. Take you, you kind of walk through the port to get to a charter bus. Once we got on the charter bus, it was already a little sketchy because the windows were covered and you weren't really able to see out of the bus. So my husband and I, we did kind of feel a little bit nervous about that, I must admit, because we kind of tore through the covering on the window so that we can kind of see out where we were going. But as we were driving and looking out, my husband became very nervous about the path that we were taking, because it was like all of these turns and we were going back into what you could obviously see was a really not so good area, for civilization, period. So when we arrived at what we thought was a resort, we had our own personal assistant that came out onto the bus to greet us. And he did inform us that even though we came together with everybody who decided to go on this excursion, and it was probably, I'm going to say it was probably about 20 people on the bus that we took to the beach. But once we got there, the tour guide, our personal tour guide, told us that once we decided to return back, that we would have to catch a cab back. They didn't tell us that when we originally left to go to the resort. So they told us that we would have to take a taxi back. So we got off of the bus, of course, and we went through. Once we got off the bus, everybody inside of that actual resort was really aggressive from start to finish. I mean, you had the ladies offering a massage that they kept coming up, rubbing on me, and I was asking them not to and telling them that I wasn't interested in getting a massage. And they were like starting out like, oh, you can get a full body massage for $20. And so it was really cheap. But they were like touching me and I was asking them not to. And it was, when I say aggressive, super aggressive. So we're going into the stores, looking at the stores. As we sat on the beach was filthy. I think it was seaweed season when we were there. So it was a lot of seaweed that washed on shore. And they were like literally trying to shovel the beach off so that you would have a walking path to get to the beach. It was terrible. But then once we got into one of the stores, which was actually the store that I got this bag from, that store, they were trying to get me to go out of the back door to go into another building away from the group that we were with. And of course, I was telling them no. When I say it was bad, it was really bad. They started telling us that they know we got some money, and if we didn't have any money, that they would take body parts. And it was, when I say it was all bad, it was really bad. So we decided that after we made the purchase of our bags, that we would just leave. So we did, and we got a taxi back. Once the taxi dropped us back off, they didn't actually take us back to the actual port. They let us off like back on a back street. And so we got off and we had to walk to the port from there. But it was a very undesirable experience. So as far as taking another excursion in Costa Maya, I would never take another excursion in Costa Maya.
They didn't have any.
Carnival does offer excursions, which I do believe, had we taken an excursion through the actual cruise line, that it would have been better. That wasn't one of the Carnival excursions. That was just one that the Islanders offered on the port. So had we
They
taken a
had
Carnival excursion,
ideas. It seems like they had other ideas.
it
with
was
that.
very uncomfortable. Actually, once we got in the taxi, there was another family. I believe it was a family of four. It was a husband, wife, and I think they had two children with them. And once he came to the van, or to the taxi. It was like a taxi van. And he came in like a hurry. And he kept saying, y'all won't believe what just happened to us. You won't believe what just happened to us. And he was saying it as if he was in a panic. And he was in such a panic. He got him and his family on a bus in the van in a hurry. And he never did say what actually happened. He just kept saying, y'all won't believe what happened to us. And he was extremely nervous, which made me very uncomfortable. Our van actually pulled off to the side. A guy opened the van from outside of the van and actually counted everybody on the van, which made me extremely uncomfortable. It was a very uncomfortable experience. Something I would never do again.
Okay. Well, you heard that, guys. Don't
Yeah.
take any off the beaten path excursions, even though they might seem like they are more reasonable. It's not a good idea, and it's definitely not a safe idea. You've already gave us a list on what we should carry, some of the most important things that we should carry. Why do you always pick June?
So the reason that I picked June, there was no, except our last cruise. That the only reason why I picked that is because that was a birthday cruise for my husband, and his birthday's in June. And just so happened, our cruise before that was our honeymoon cruise. Why I picked June, I'm not even sure. But we picked June that time as well, even though our wedding was in December. But I guess I just kind of wanted to pick a warm month just to kind of get out of the cold and flu season because we were going on a cruise ship packed in with other people. I did book a cruise for February, actually February coming, going to the ABC Islands, which is Curacao, Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, which is in February. I am a little reluctant to go on that cruise, but I did book that cruise. One of the things I will say for cruisers, well, I'll let you ask your next question. Go ahead.
Go ahead for the cruisers.
So I was just gonna expound a little bit on the best way to pay for cruises and that, but that might be your question. So go ahead with your
Yep, that
question.
is the question. And have you ever thought of visiting some beaches on the United States side? Just having a beach vacation?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would actually, even though it seems different country-ish, I would like to go to Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
But even going to like California, because in all honesty, I have never been to California to visit any of their beaches. I have been to Florida, but as far as just taking like a beach vacation in Florida, I've not. So I do plan to hit up some of the domestic beaches as well.
Yeah, on this side. I heard we have some pretty awesome beaches in Michigan.
Yes. So I have not had an opportunity to, but I can tell you there are some very beautiful beaches. I've actually gone really far up north, and there is a city called Escanaba. Escanaba is just the whole waterfront. I mean, really up north, all by itself is beautiful with a lot of beautiful beaches. You can actually get some beaches up north. Now, I've never been to any, but I've gone through Escanaba. When I say absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. They have sand dunes and all that stuff up there. Like it's just beautiful. So I would definitely take a northern Michigan vacation, but it will certainly have to be. And I love winter. But if I'm gonna go to a beach, it's gonna definitely have to be in the summer
How
for
many
sure.
swimsuits would you?
If I'm going for a week, I'm taking. If I'm going for a week, I'm taking 7. I might take 8 or 9 just to have a selection. But I'm definitely gonna take a week's worth of swimsuits if I go. Because the truth
Okay.
is that you want to go. You're gonna want to live in your swimsuits when you're on those beaches. So don't worry about your body, the body shaming, none of that. Once I put on my swimsuit, I feel like I am the finest thing on the beach. So don't worry about any of that. Take them swimsuits. There's no need to go into the beach in a snowsuit. So
I have a cousin who lives in California, and at the end of the summer, I believe it is, he travels to the nude beach. And he talked about it just like you explained. You know, there's no body shaming. He said you will see different body shapes and nobody's paying anybody any attention. And just the thought of being totally uninhibited. Do you think you could ever do that? Could you go to a nude beach?
do I actually think I could go to a new beach? Yeah, absolutely. Listen, honestly, I would love to go to a new beach. I really would. I would
Okay,
definitely
well,
beach.
let's put that
And the
on our
reason why
bucket
I would
list.
do
Let's put it on our bucket list. And
listen,
if anyone else is interested in going with us to the new beach,
listen, let
contact
me
me
tell
in
you
the
something.
comments
I would
below.
do a new beach because let me tell you why. Everybody is nude. So yeah, I would definitely go to a new beach. Embrace our bodies.
Would you peach? Would
Of course. Listen, I will people watch with absolutely no judgment.
yeah, sounds like a blast. Like a blast.
Now let
So,
me redirect that. I know this is your show. I know
uh,
this is your show, but what about yourself?
would I go to a new beach? I don't
You
know.
be sitting right by me, people watching. I already know.
I'll be hiding behind some people. I don't know if I can embrace the total eclipse of the heart. You know what I'm saying? But I just love the way the sun feels, even just with the swimsuit. So I can only imagine to just have the sun kissing your skin from head to toe. How wonderful that would feel, especially
Mhm.
being a Michigander, girl from the Midwest that's used to the frost and it's blowing in. But I thank you so much for coming and uh, being this special guest on Special Guest Sunday. I hope to have you back after those two trips to review the other beaches and excursions. So, do you have any
Absolutely.
final thoughts?
So I do have something I would like to say, and I'll make this really quick. What I would say is because a lot of people won't travel because they feel like they can't afford it. People are always waiting until they get extra money. But let me tell you, there is no such thing as extra money. If you got a trip on your heart, go ahead and plan it. Book it with a travel agent. I believe you dabbled in travel agent as being a travel agent yourself, but book that trip with a travel agent, and that way you can put down a very small deposit and make those payments that fits into your budget. Travel, see the world, see different parts of the state. Get out there, live a little bit, just so that you get out there and see what else is out there.
Embrace other.
Different countries, different environments, different other races. Just get out there. It's a beautiful world out here. Go see it.
Well, thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave some comments below. And thank you, Joletta, for being here. I enjoyed this conversation, and I hope to have you back.